Hi everyone, it's me, Andrew, and um, I just wanted to make a video talking about something that's actually very, very personal and something that, I really hope is going to help a lot of people. Um, this is not really angel card related or tarot or oracle or whatever related. This is actually about me and about my life. So I'm really going to kind of open up to you guys a little bit um, more than I have, and instead of talking about tarot cards and stuff like that. So it might not come as a surprise. I'm sure you probably all already know, but I'm gay. Have been since I was born. Um, but I wanted to make a video about kind of my life up until this point to maybe help other people who are going through the same kinds of struggles and the same kinds of things um, that I went through, and who maybe have some of the same feelings that I had kind of during my life's journey. So I guess I'll just start at the beginning, and I hope you guys don't mind I um that I'm making this video. And if you do mind, then I mean, you don't have to like my page, just to be completely honest. You can hit the unsubscribe button and just like vamoose. But, and I know that sounds harsh, but I really don't care. This is who I am, and I hope to be supported by all of the people on my page and all the people watching this video. And, if you don't support me, then, that's okay, because I've never needed your approval anyway. So, and that sounds harsh, but that's kind of just that's how I am. That's how it's just how I've come to realize how my life is. I don't need approval from somebody to be me. So ever since I was little, I knew that I was a little bit different. When I watched the Disney movies, and I was like, the princess is cool, but instead of being like, oh, she's pretty, I was like, look at the prince though, like, and that's, when I started kind of realizing I was a little bit different. And I was never one to play sports. I always wanted to read books. All of my friends were girls. And by no means is any of this saying, if all your friends are girls and you don't play sports, then you're gay. That has nothing to do with it. This is just my personal journey. And I would say probably middle school is when I really started like developing attractions towards other guys. And before that, though, I was riding in the car with my mom, and she had been watching a soap opera during the day or something before she went to work, and she said, yeah, two guys, one guy proposed to another guy, and they kissed, and it was gross. And I was like, that doesn't sound gross. I mean, that sounds like someone proposing to somebody else. I was really young. I didn't think that it was anything was wrong with it, but I was conditioned and raised to believe that it was wrong. And all of you know that I was raised very, 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 very religious, in a very religious background, in a very religious area of a very religious part of the country. And it's North Carolina, in case you guys didn't know that I was from North Carolina. But yeah, I'm from North Carolina. And so I was tormented all through elementary school. I remember even as early as first, second grade being called gay. I didn't even know what gay was. I was like, okay, like, I'm like 8. I don't care. And so I ended up realizing later on, later in middle school, what being gay was about. And I realized that it lined up perfectly with how I felt on the inside. I didn't necessarily want a girlfriend. I wanted a boyfriend. I wanted to be with a guy. And in high school, it got to be very difficult, because I knew what it was, and I knew that people used the word gay in a derogatory way. And so I really I put on a really brave face for people. And I put on a really tough face for people. And like I don't care. I don't care what you think about me. When in reality I did. I really did care. And it hurt me really, really bad. Um like really bad. And so, I was going to church at the time, and I never really liked church when I was growing up because religion tore my family apart, and I never really cared much for it. Well, when I was a junior in high school, that's when I finally started to accept myself, and that's when I finally started coming out to my very, very close friends, or the friends that I thought that I could trust. And I will never forget, someone went home and told their dad, who was not my pastor at the time, but my best friend's pastor, that I was gay, and he called my best friend in the entire world. We were friends since we were second grade, and we are no longer friends. Called her and told her, hey, your daughter might want to stay away from Drew because he's gay. And so even though that is, what the pastor said, I do believe her mom had a different reaction. Her mom, I believe, is a true Christian. My best friend's mom and the people that I told, I believe, are true Christians, and they loved me. But it was more of the love the sinner, hate the sin kind of thing. And, it was almost like a love you from the distance, or love you from a distance kind of thing. And it really, it kind of hurt. But I'll never forget my best friend in the world. Her name is Lauren. And I went over to her parents' house, and they treated me so, not even different, just the same. And that really meant a lot to me. So, like I said, I started coming out to people in my junior year. And not that it was a surprise to people, but it was a big weight off my shoulders to be able to be myself, at least while I was at school. Then I would go home to a religion-infested household. And I'm sorry if you can hear my disdain. I'm really sorry about that. But this is a video that I really need to make to help other people. So I wrote a paper in my junior sociology class about the battle over gay teens. And it was actually an article in Time magazine at the time. And there was a lot going on surrounding conversion therapy at the time, which is telling gay people that you're not gay, go to therapy and you can be straight, like praise God, whatever. And so I wrote about that because it pissed me off, just to be completely honest, that people thought stuff like that. So I wrote a 3-page long paper about it, and it was a really good paper, and I came out to my teacher in that paper. So I forgot how long it was after that. It was probably about a month. My mom was going through my book bag, she went through my book bag before, and then she found the paper, and she made copies of it. And I love my mom to death, and we're on good terms now, but she really made me angry back then. But she was just doing what she thought was best for me, but it honestly wasn't at all. So she made copies of my paper, put the paper back in my book bag, and gave it to my youth pastor at church. So we were at a really conservative Baptist church, like Independent Baptist, not Southern Baptist. If you know the difference, you know what I'm talking about. Independent Baptists are the really rigid and don't do this, you don't do that, you don't do this, you don't do that. And so one night we had youth group, and everybody was going to the gym to play ball or something, whatever game they were playing that night. My youth pastor called me, held me back. And little backstory, before this, probably about a month before this, or a month or two, we had a preacher who was very hellfire and brimstone about gay people. Pretty much his whole message was about how gay people are going to burn in hell. So I was sitting there and I was petrified. I was so scared. I was like, oh my God, like I'm going to burn in hell. Like I can't change this. So I pulled him and his wife and his daughter, who was one of my best friends at the time, into one of the side rooms of the church and said, I think I might be gay. And he was like, people thought that my brother was gay or whatever, and he's not. He has a family, and all this kind of stuff. And you quoting Bible verses at me and stuff like that. I was like, cool, that helped. And so I went to when he held me back, I was like, oh God. And I believe my actual words were shit. that I was being held back. I was like, I know, man, I'm in trouble now. So I was held back, and he proceeded to talk to me about the homosexual agenda and how they are trying to recruit the young people and how bad it was, and quoting Bible verses and just all this meaningless nonsense. And I was pissed. I was so pissed at my mom because, I was 16. I felt so violated in that moment because my very personal paper, that I was given to give to my teacher and to nobody else because I trusted my teacher, was just made public. And it just aggravated me to the point of no return. And it upset me so bad, like really bad. So then after that, at the very end, he was like, I want you to either choose this or choose God. Or choose God or choose the world. Either way, he gave me a choice, and one of them was God and one of them was being gay. And, I want you to, next week, tell me what you decide. A week. Whatever. So I basically made my decision, but when I went back later, when I went back the next week, I was like, yeah, choose God, whatever, praise Jesus. And, did all that. And so then it came to my attention that my youth pastor and I guess his wife and the pastor of the main pastor of the church were talking about voting me out of the church because I was gay. So I was pretty upset about it, as I'm sure you can all imagine. And I just remember feeling so betrayed and hurt. And like, how did this even happen? Like, this was never supposed to happen. People were not supposed to know this. This was something so private about myself. It's not like, oh, he has blonde hair. It was something very personal about myself that, it's something that you tell people when you're ready. You don't want it broadcast all over the place. So, my pastor pulled me, he didn't pull me aside, but the pastor, I guess, in all churches, I guess they do this. I don't know. But he stands at the door and, like, shakes hands on the way out, And he shook my hand and he clasped my hand and he's like, Drew, we need to talk, buddy. I was like, whatever. So my dad, who I love with all my heart, and my stepmom, live in Oregon. So way on the other side of the country. Like, way over there. And so I believe it was not too long after that that I told them, I asked them if I could come live with them. Because they told me that their house was always open to me, and it was, and they were very gracious in taking me in. Really short notice, actually. And just a little more background into more reasons why I moved is my brothers, I had a bit of a reputation in my high school because of someone that I dated there. And apparently it got out that happened. And so I had a bit of a reputation. And people talked about me, and my brothers were embarrassed by me. So my brothers wouldn't talk to me and pretty much made my life a living hell. So I was pretty much all alone. I had, like, nobody that really understood what I was going through. And you may live in a place just like that, where you feel like, God, I'm the only one that's going through this right now. And I don't see how I'm going to make it. I have no one to talk to. And it's a horrible feeling, and it sucks. Because you're sitting there in the middle of the Bible Belt, and it's just like, God. So I went to Oregon, and I lived there for about 5 months, and then um, there was a bit of a turbulent, I'll call it, situation, and which resulted in my departure back to North Carolina, not of my own choice. And I'll admit, I was kind of a stupid kid. I mean, I really was. I had so much going on, and I was just so out of my mind with everything that, I just was acting out and being stupid. Well, and this is going to be the part that's really hard to talk about. Um, the night before I went home, um, I found a bottle of pain medicine in the bathroom somewhere in the cupboard or something. Didn't know how many to take. I didn't know. I tried to kill myself that night. And I remember waking up and I was just like, and I'm sorry for the language in this video, but this is exactly what I said. I woke up and I was like, fuck. I didn't realize how bad I wanted to die. Because I knew coming back to North Carolina was going to be one of those things that I couldn't take. That I wouldn't be able to handle. And when I tell you that if you are thinking about doing that to yourself, don't. You have so much to live for. It's not worth it to kill yourself over what other people think. So, if you don't feel like anyone else loves you, I do. And I don't even know you. So, that means a lot. I don't like a lot of people. But just please don't do it. Don't. There's so much you have to accomplish here. You could be the one person that changes the world. So don't do it. Just don't do it. Please don't. You're much too loved and much too cared for to do something like that. So please don't do that. And I'll include the number to the Trevor hotline and the suicide hotline below. So if you're having problems, you can check out those resources because they're really great. So on the way back to North Carolina, I got to thinking, well, maybe they're right. Maybe I need God. And I got back on a Monday, and that Wednesday, I forgot this. I was not allowed back in my house with my mom, my brothers, and my stepdad. Because my stepdad didn't want me to be around my brothers because I was gay. Because apparently that's the thing. That gay people are child molesters, which is absurd. Like, absurd. Am I not saying that there are some gays that are child molesters? Certainly. There are a lot of straight people that are child molesters too. It has nothing to do with it. So get that thought out of your head because it's stupid. So, I had to live with my best friend, who the preachers called her mom that time. And so I lived with them. And I went there on a Wednesday. Actually, Tuesday. I actually came back the day for my senior year. The day my senior year in high school began. And that Wednesday, I went to church and got saved. And, I was told that being gay is something that is caused by evil spirits inside of you. And I was like, oh, okay. And, they prayed over me and I got saved. And, fast forward, a couple years, I was thinking that I wasn't gay. I was trying to prove to myself that I wasn't gay. By, every time I would think a thought about a guy, I'd be like, get thee behind me, Satan, and stuff like that. We're not realizing that, number one, Satan isn't real. The devil's not real. There's enough evil in the world without putting a name to it. The devil's just stupid. There's no devil. So if you're worried about that, I can rest assured there's no devil. You're fine. But, quoting Bible verses and things like that to get my mind off of it. And I was so miserable those 4 years. 4 years of my life I wasted. And that's 4 years I will never get back because I was scared to be who I was because of the threat of condemnation in hell. because people who were so brainwashed by a religion that they couldn't see past their religion into the person, in the heart of the person who loved God and who felt like they were on the outside of things all the time. All the time. There was never a time when they felt like they were fully incorporated into part of the church, because everybody knew everything about me. They knew my struggles. They knew everything. And they never, I feel like that was all they saw when they look at me was, oh, he's gay. Oh, he's fighting it. When I say don't waste your time, you know, I don't mean to say that in a negative way, but you have time on this earth, and you only have so much of it. Whether it's 80 years, 70 years, 100 years, you only have so much time. Don't waste it. Don't waste it being someone else's idea of who you should be. You know, it took me forever. And once I finally moved out on my own, and I was able to get away from all the, and I'm going to say that all the bullshit that I was being put through. And I'm sorry if this language offends anybody. If, you know, you're sensitive, I'm sorry. I really am. But this is just kind of my venting video, in parts of it. So I am sorry that there has been some language in this video. But rest assured, it all has good intentions, and I just want to get this video out there to help people. So disclaimer, sorry. But I wanted to get away from everything that made me feel like I wasn't good enough, and everything that made me feel like I was just a second-rate person, that I wasn't, you know, the same flesh and blood human that everybody else was. So when I moved out on my own, you know, I had a breakup. Well, I guess you could call it a breakup. I felt like it was a breakup. And that's when I started on my spiritual journey. I started going to a Catholic church because I felt such a connection with Mother Mary that just resonated with me. So I started going to a Catholic church, not to become Catholic, but to feel that oneness again. And come to find out that both the Catholic churches I went to in North Carolina love gay people. Who knew? I was pretty shocked about that. But then they have a really cool pope that's just really awesome. So thank you to that, because that's amazing. Progress is finally being made. And I remember being like, wow, did the priest just say gay people and straight people? Because it was National Marriage Day. And I was like, oh, God, I came to church on National Marriage Day. Now I've got to sit through this whole thing about men and women. And he goes, let's remember all of our single folks, both gay and straight. And I was like, what? Jesus? You know? And it worked like that, you know, and it really kind of gave me that push that I needed to pursue spirituality more. And while I don't go to church anymore, it's not that I don't want to, I just never have time. I would love to go to a Catholic church and just sit there because I think it's beautiful. And if I could pick a religion to be a part of, you know, without all the hellfire and brimstone kind of stuff, I would choose Catholicism. And so I started my spiritual journey, and I always told my mom that I would, I always told myself, I don't know where that came from, that I wouldn't tell my mom until I met somebody that changed my life and I wanted to tell her. So after kind of going along this journey of, you know, learning from my angels and learning from my guides and using my tarot cards, which my first deck was the Archangel Power Tarot card, which I've said before. So I guess I'm talking about tarot a little bit. You got to. Those cards really helped me come into my own, and they really helped me to be myself and to come into my own personal power. So I really started becoming comfortable with myself. And I started being like, maybe this isn't bad. You know, maybe this isn't something that I need to be ashamed of. And so then I was like, psh, whatever. Like, I don't care. You know, I'm going to be me. And if you don't like it, then you can just go somewhere else. And so I but totally by chance, which I don't believe in, like, chance meetings. I believe there's always something that you're meant to do and the place you're meant to be. But to me, it seemed like it at the time. And I'm just going to call it that for lack of a better word. I met someone who was going to turn my life around. And that is my now boyfriend, Matt. And it's not playing there, but that's with Elsa. That's where my Elsa references come from. So this is him. Wait, there he is. So, and it is actually going to be our 1 year anniversary, March 22nd. So I'm really, really excited about that. So I don't know if I've ever even said his name in one of my videos, but so that's him, and I love him a lot. He's awesome. And so we met in the weirdest way. You know, I worked at Target selling phones. And I don't know if most of you know, but I sell phones now too. I work at Verizon. I don't know if you've seen my shirt sometimes that say Verizon. But so I worked there first, and he come walking in, and it was just the coolest thing. And then I was on a dating website, and I found him there, and I was like, how weird is this? Like, I know this guy. So come to find out, he had saw me on another on a mobile employee at his store. He saw me on her phone in a group chat that we had with a picture of Olaf, because I love Olaf. And in case you haven't figured out, I really like Frozen. And so we met and we had coffee, and the rest is history. So the reason I say that is because it really helped me come into my own and be comfortable with who I am. And so after probably about 6 or 7 months, I was watching one of Doreen Virtue's weekly readings, and the card that came up for the middle or the end of the week, I can't remember which one it was the Strength card. And my intuition spoke to me all of a sudden, and just like, knocked me off my feet. And it was like, come out to your mom, or come out to my mom, or whatever. And I was like, and once again, this is a bad word, but this is exactly what I said, because I don't believe in, like, filtering what I said. I was like, shit. And Matt goes, what? And I was like, I've got to come out to my mom. So, and those of you who have come out to your parents, it may have been a good experience, or it may have been a experience. So I had this really ornate plan of telling my mom, and it kind of didn't work out the way I thought it was going to work out. So I bought her a candle for Mother's Day, and I wrote a letter. I actually cried more about, like, the reminiscing part, like the memories and stuff, trying to soften her up a little bit, than I did when I actually like came out and said, hey, I'm gay. And so I put the note in with the candle, and like taped the bag up like really good so nobody could get into it. And because, like, good God, I didn't want anybody else to read it. And so my mom read it, I guess, after I left, and she sent me a text message the next day and said, I loved my candle. I was like, did you read the letter? You know? She goes, yeah, and she goes, I really, you know how I feel about it. She goes, I really don't agree with it, but I'm never going to turn my back on you, and I love you. So let's rewind a little bit, because I totally forgot to tell you one of the most important parts of my coming out story. Is I was laying in bed, and I was asking Mother Mary for help. Because if you ever need help with a situation with your mom, Mother Mary is the perfect person to go to, because she's the perfect example of what a mother should be. She's not judgmental. She's kind. She's forgiving. She's loving. She just loves you to death. She loves you to pieces, as we say here in the South. And I will never forget these words, and I just get chills thinking about it. She was like, I'll help her understand. And then the room was flooded with angels, and the way I saw angels at that time was just pillars of light, just like all around my room. And I called upon angels from, like, everywhere, not just, like, Earth. I called upon angels if there's galaxies, whatever part of the universe you're in. If you're an angel, I need you. and I got a lot of support that way and a lot of help that way. And she is what gave me the courage to come out to my mom. And then somehow I got that text message from my mom. And so, and once again, before, when I got home, because I had to go home that weekend where I'm from, and which is like 2 hours away from where I live now. Or no, it's like an hour. It's not 2 hours. But I usually get messages from my grandmother a lot, and I hadn't been getting messages from her lately. And I just opened this random box, and it was filled with cards. Birthday cards, Easter cards, Valentine's Day cards, Christmas cards. And a lot of them were from my grandma. And I found a picture that just blew me away of her. And one of the pictures that she hated, and oh, that's my cat. One of the pictures that she hated, but I loved. And she, at that moment, I felt like she was with me, and I knew she was going to help me too. So, don't be afraid to ask for help from unseen forces as well as physical people. And so it's actually a pretty cool story because, like I said, Matt and I are going to be together a year. But I found out that it wasn't so much having a person in my life that made me want to come out to my mom. It was doing it for me and doing it for my inner strength and my inner peace. Matt was just a part of it that helped me do it. That, I had a support system to do it. So when I tell you it's not, it gets better. It gets so much better. And you have to wait for people to really understand where you're coming from and the side of things that you're coming from. And I know this is a really long video, but I hope that this has really helped somebody. And right now, I couldn't be happier. My mom is still, she's really nice and she's really supportive about it, which is really good. But my dad and stepmom are wonderful about it. My mom is, she's getting better. So we'll put it like that. She's getting a lot better. And, I'm not ashamed to tell anybody now. I don't care. I've gotten way past that point of caring what someone thinks about me or what someone doesn't think about me. Honestly, you gotta get to that point where you just don't care anymore. Because it's exhausting trying to care about what other people think about you. It's just not worth your time or your effort. Just let it go. Like also. So, all is well now, and I am a walking success story of how you can be in the deepest, deepest, deepest pit in your life and still find a way to pull yourself up and get back at it. Because you can. Because you're a really strong person. You, right in here. Right there. Right there. You are a strong person. And in all seriousness, I joke around a lot, but in all seriousness, you are so strong and you're so loved and you have such a great support system that you don't even know about. So I just want to tell you how much you're loved and how much all of this it's just not even going to matter to you in a couple of years. You're going to look back and be like, wow, I made it through all that. And you're going to look back. You're not going anywhere. Like I said, the resources that I talked about, the Trevor Project and the Suicide Hotline are going to be below. The Trevor Project is really great. And I really hope that if you're watching this and you feel like you don't have anywhere to turn to, that you will go there. And that you will find help there and someone that you can talk to. So I love you guys so much, and I know this was not a reading about this was not a video about tarot. But if you are interested in a reading with me, all my contact information is listed below, which is pretty much just my website. You can go to my website. My Facebook is linked to there. My YouTube channel is linked to there. If you're watching this, you're already on my YouTube channel. So, welcome. And if you haven't subscribed to my videos, you can do that here. And you can like it here. And then you can share it somewhere down here somewhere. So, angel blessings to each and every one of you. And once again, I apologize for some of the language in this video. However, I don't believe in kind of censoring myself when it comes to my own story. So, I'm sorry if I offended any of you, but I hope you understand where I'm coming from. So, I will talk to you guys later, and bye.